among you. Your cause is my cause.
Woo!
Freedom is my struggle for freedom.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. You have to understand it is one cause, one fight, one people. We are fighting the colonial imperialism expansion into the Middle East. First, it started 500 years ago on the indigenous land here.
Woo!
Yeah. And now for 70 years, the seeds of colonial imperialism, Zionism, has taken over my homeland. Yep. We have suffered with systematic genocide, just as you have. Our lands have been occupied, just as your lands have been occupied. Till this day, your lands are occupied. They put you into cantoons, little cantoons, thinking you would decimate and disappear. But you're here.
Don't hold the trigger.
You're here. You're strong. You're resilient. Your color is the color of the soil, just as my color is the color of the soil in Palestine. We have been in Palestine for 7,000 years, and you have been here for much longer. I want you to know, Palestinian people all over rejoice in this day, in recognition of your suffering, your genocide. I want you to know we will be with you in every fight, with all our heart, with all our mind. You know that we support you. I want to tell you a little about Palestine. Do you all remember the attack on Gaza last summer? We lost over 2,100 innocent civilians. 500 of them were children. Many of the bombs were sent by American companies, by our American government.
Yes. Yeah.
LOCKHEED Martin here. Shame on you!
Shame!
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! You have supported! You have supported! Shame on you! LOCKHEED Martin has supported the Israelis with weapons that kill children. Gaza is an environmental catastrophe. It is cut off, it's blockaded from everywhere. By water, by sea, by land, and they continue to bomb them. After the attacks of Gaza, 1 month later, the Israeli military companies held a conference because they had already tested their equipment in the lab on the indigenous people of Palestine. They tried their equipment. They have their lab rats in Gaza. And sure enough, you have all kinds of leaders that come and buy it from Israel to use on their own people. You should be enraged at this.
Absolutely.
LOCKHEED Martin went and wanted to be part of it. And sure enough, they opened a facility on April 9th, 2015 in Israel. They opened the facility instead of saying no.
Shut it down.
Shut it down is right.
Shut it down.
On May 6th, they invested in the Israeli stock market. This is American imperialism. This is corporate greed. You want to talk about corporations? Let's talk about corporations. Corporations that mine the Navajo reservations. The uranium fields that have killed and poisoned our Navajo indigenous communities.
That's right.
What about the fossil fuel industries?
Yep.
Our water.
Yep.
Our water has been contaminated. There are hundreds of mines, a catastrophe waiting to happen.
Yep.
And no one paid attention. It happened, yes. The Animas River was one. You think people would have learned. But no, they have not learned. Today in Palestine, we have the environmental disaster on the shores of Gaza.